Hello, and thank you everyone for joining. My name is Krisell Valenzuela, and thank you for joining Community Readings for Collective Healing. And today we're going to get into some readings for audience members and anyone that joins in. Thank you to any replay watchers. I'm going to give it maybe a minute or so while things get rolling and people start joining. But what to expect today is we will do a bit of a grounding exercise, and then I'll explain how the readings work here today. But I want to go ahead and start with that we are starting to do a free reading with an on-camera person. And to win this free reading, there's a contest. And all you have to do is join my mailing list. And a couple days before the community reading for collective healing goes on, I'll send out an image that you can share to your Instagram stories. And as long as you tag me, you'll be entered into a chance to win. And then all the details are in that email. We started it this week. I'm really surprised that no one participated, but here are a few tips, or maybe just one tip, to make sure that you are counted if you did try to share it and enter. So when you share the post to your Instagram stories, your account needs to be public in order for me to see that I've been tagged. So make sure that your account is public when you share the graphic to your Instagram stories so that you can be entered into a chance to get a free reading with me here on Community Readings for Collective Healing. And that free reading is always going to be the first reading that we start the hour with. And you will receive, if you win, you receive all of the details by email to join us on video. So if you are just joining, drop me an emoji, let me know your name and where you are joining from in comments. I have my lovely partner here, Ira, in the background. And what she does is she really helps me stay focused on the stream and being connected. And she throws up comments for me so that I don't have to pay attention to it. And something new that you're going to start seeing is that I will no longer be streaming to Facebook. So you'll be able to find this on Twitch and YouTube Live. Let's see. Oh, we have a Jay from Cali. Welcome, Jay. And I don't have my glasses on, so I actually can't see how. I hope I'm saying it right. Jay from Cali. Thanks so much for being here, Jay. Like, old lady, I can't see. If I sound a little funny, I had a choking choking cough attack earlier today. I was eating something and it went down the wrong bowl or went down the wrong pipe. And so I started choking. And ever since that happened, my throat just feels funny. And I feel like I sound like Phoebe and Friends with the Smelly Cat song. So while we wait for people to join, I do want to share something, because in one of the last community readings for collective healing, I think that there was a reading about someone who had some energy attachments that needed some clearing, and the person reached out to me post reading, asking for additional support. And I want to be very clear that when I give readings here, that I give them until they feel complete. So whenever I give a reading, I don't want you ever to think that you need to have some sort of follow-up, that you need to book a session with me afterwards. And I want to talk about this a bit in terms of your sovereignty and your free will, and also surrender. Especially if you feel empowered to do energy clearing on yourself, for yourself, if you feel empowered to take the action on your own, know that that is enough. Know that when you take the action yourself, if it feels complete, it can be complete. So I want everyone to know that as I share readings, if you've ever received a reading before, and if that reading included any sort of healing or energy work whatsoever, that is a complete session, that you don't need any additional work. I feel like that is very predatory and that goes against everything that I stand for. And if you ever do the work for yourself, know that that is enough. I come from the perspective that I love doing these readings because it's a demonstration for other people what is possible, what is available to them. But I never ever want to be the person that you feel like you have to get the reading from, that you need me, that there's any form of dependence. Because my work is, at the foundation of my work, is self-sufficiency. For you to have direct access to your own power, to your own energy, and what is available to you, and for you to be able to do it on your own, to feel independent. And I was looking at the light. I was like, do I have a tan? It's the lighting. So I'm just adding more lighting. It still looks like I have a tan right here. Looks some weird tan. Okay. Maybe I need to turn this light up. Okay. So again, if you get a reading, it's complete. Trust in your own energy, trust in your own power. Really lean into your own authority, your own energetic authority, and release and surrender. Release the fear, release the need for there to be more. Embrace that you are enough, that what you get is enough, and find peace in that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with a clearing. Oh, okay. I was going to say grounding exercise, but I guess we can do a clearing. So we'll do a grounding exercise that includes a clearing. So you can go ahead and take a comfortable position, and whether that be sitting up, lying down, or whether that be curling the ball and standing up. It could even be swaying, finding movement, whatever is comfortable for you. Embrace that stance. And as you feel your eyelids get heavy, you can gently let them close. Let's begin by taking a deep breath in through the nose for 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. And exhaling fully and completely through the mouth for 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4. And allowing your breath to return to its normal rhythm. Feeling the energy return and refocus, beginning at your head, and feeling any tension release, entering and softening your eyebrows, softening your forehead, softening those muscles soften and flow down through your neck into your shoulders and down. And as the energy flows, softening, relaxing the toes, smoothing over your neck, relaxing your shoulders, feeling them fall, and feeling the fall flow through your arms, down to your fingers, into your lap, feeling your muscles in the back relax, and feeling you ease into your seat, or whatever position you're holding at this moment. Feeling the energy continue to wash over your hips, relaxing and releasing. Feeling your hips soften, and you feel the movement, circular, small circle, feeling more alive, and feeling that energy continue through your hips, over your thighs, washing down, releasing all of the energy that you needed from today, going into your ankles, into your toes, and into the earth, releasing with so much gratitude all of this energy into the earth to be and released. And as you release this energy into the earth, your body feels lighter, you sit or stand taller, feel the flow of energy move your body with more ease, much lighter. And then take a deep breath here. And as you continue to breathe, enjoy this lightness of your body. You see a calm white light flowing down from the universe, flowing through your core channel and reconnecting you down to the earth. As you see this core channel white light, you watch it as it expands by a 10-mile radius. And as you see this core channel expand, you see it grow again by a 15-mile radius. And you continue to watch this column of white light expand until the entire planet is covered in this beautiful white light. Your energy is clear, connected, grounding you in the here and now. And take a second to connect with your intention for today. Whatever it is that you've come here for, whatever the purpose, whoever it is you want to connect with, think of that intention and hold it in your heart, watching it grow and expand. Watching it grow until it fills your room. Seeing the vibrant details of this intention as it fills your space. and releasing that intention so that it may go to where it fills your energy and serves you. And when you're ready, you can gently bat your eyelashes open, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and return to the space. Cool. If we have a small group today, that means everyone gets a reading. So if you've just joined, please drop me where you're from in the comments. And if you would like a reading, go ahead and drop me a emoji in the comments. Any emoji. Hi, Dee from Toronto. Thanks so much for being here. And while I give you guys a second to drop an emoji in the comments, I just want to share with you that I am hosting a 3-day virtual retreat with my mentor and Kababayan. Oh, excuse me. Energetic clearing. I am hosting a 3-day virtual retreat. It starts tomorrow, and it's the retreat is called Own Your Throne, and it is personal energy mastery for intuitive empaths. As someone who identifies as an empath, understanding what an empath is and learning some energetic management tools was life-changing. I literally saw my life change within like a month and a half of starting to put those tools into practice. And so it means so much to me to help others understand what it is to be an intuitive empath and to learn tools to manage it. Because when you are an empath and you don't have the tools, everything feels so intensely that you're either suffering from how intense everything feels, or you're numbing yourself to your human experience for survival. And neither one ends with you. Neither one produces the best version of you. It holds you back. So that's why this retreat is so meaningful to me. And if you'd like more information on it, you can head over to my website where we have the whole agenda listed out, along with some special exclusive offers for attendees. So, okay, Grammy and Meristar. Okay, you guys are both getting a reading. One second. So normally what I try to do is just read from like pure connection, but oh my god, I think that some like frat bros moved in behind me, and they had a party last night, and they were like playing really loud music, which I'm like, I went to some parties back in my day. I don't want to be your party foul or your buzzkill. By all means, get your party on, but be respectful with the noise. So they were playing loud vocal music past midnight, actually up until 1:30, and so my sleep was disturbed. And it's here in the U.S. daylight saving, so my sleep has also been disrupted by the time change. And then just the other night, my kid woke up in the middle of the night and had a bloody nose and was freaking out. So I was up late with him too. So I'm not tired. So today I'm going to let my cards support me as we get the reading started. Okay, I'm starting with Crammy. I hope I'm saying that right. A Crammy acronym. A Crammy. Okay, I'm being silly because I'm tired now. Okay. And I'm using the Golden Thread Tarot deck by, let's see here, Labyrinthos. So Golden Thread Tarot by Labyrinthos. Oh, that's not working out. But here are the cards. Okay, I'm going to show you each card. The first one is the Lovers reversed. And then the second one is the, what is that, Six of Cups? I'm not good with numerals. Six of Cups reversed. So if these are reversed, it feels like there's a block or limitation when it comes to these energies. And then it also feels like this has a lot to do with relationships. I like to think of life in general, just a series of relationships, but this feels very particular to the words intimate and friendship come up. So I feel like it's one relationship, but it's two sides of it. It's like the actual friendship, camaraderie of a relationship, and also the sexual intimacy of a relationship. Let's see here. Okay, so when the Lovers card comes up, it's about the balance of the energies present within, not necessarily, it doesn't always mean within two different people, but the Lovers card can come up and just be about you. And this balance of energy is about the masculine and feminine. So when we talk about masculine and feminine, we're not talking about like penis and vagina. But what we are talking about is the analytical and structured and detail-oriented side, and the flow and the intuition and the bigger picture and the being in the very present moment side, and also like oscillating and being very flexible and moving with ease through both. And when you have that balance, the kind of eruptive pleasure that exists. And when I say eruptive, like typically in Rider-Waite, what you see is a volcano, and a volcano is erupting in the middle. But here, it's not a volcano, it's actually a plant. So it's about the creation, it's about life that springs forth from this union. I want to say that in the Rider-Waite, it's a volcano erupting, and a volcano erupting is also about creation and fertility, but it comes about in a very different manner. So it's very aggressive, it's very violent, earth shattering, while also mending the earth that is shattering. But the way that this plant is coming, it feels like it's like this is a long game. This is what happens from consistent cultivation. See here. One of the other things that I'm noticing here is that there is a serpent or a snake, and the snake is coming down from the sky, or what we would consider the heavens. But because it's upside down, it actually looks like the snake is coming out of the ground, and what's falling out of the two lovers' hands is what it's going after. So I'm going to dig into that for a bit. That feels like it's sticking out. I feel like there's a journey between cultivating and really like embodying the masculine and the feminine energy, and that these are two separate experiences that intertwine, and that each person in this relationship needs to really go through that on their own. Like that's a personal journey, and that when each person has allowed themselves to go on that journey of personal discovery, um, it's through that individual journey that you two will intertwine. I feel like that's a big part of where this limitation or this block in the Lover's card is coming from. The Lover's card is a uh, life lesson card. It speaks to life themes. So this also doesn't feel like or I'm sorry, it doesn't feel like, it feels like this is a major relationship. Is this a true love situation? Or is this just a major learning relationship? I keep hearing, this is it. So it feels like this relationship that that you're in, like this is a major relationship in your life, but it also feels like this is a very long-term relationship in your life. I want to say long-term because I honor that whatever happens after this reading, you could change the course of events. You could change the outcome. So I say long term because it feels like this is like a soul contract, soul family type of relationship. And that's part of the reason why the Lover's card is coming up. But also, it feels like that's why you both need to be doing your own personal journey in order to like come together and bring this card right side up. I said I was going to talk about the snake, but it actually, as I like anchor into this idea that you're both on your personal journeys through masculinity and femininity in terms of like that rational intuitive experience. Um, I It feels like the snake comes out of the ground because there's like some sort of anchoring and deception and like that kind of energy. But what happens is when you go on your personal journeys, it's like that clears up. It's like that clears up and you're right side up. And then it makes it more difficult for this temptation that the serpent can sometimes represent. It makes it more difficult for that. It serves as protection. I also feel like I need to talk a little bit about the symbol of the serpent because the serpent is about deep transformation. So it's not even about preventing the serpent from coming in. It's also about sometimes that serpent is necessary because of the catalyst for transformation that it brings. But it does feel like having like when you have your own personal journeys, you and whoever the relationship person, the other person in the relationship is, that you can have that you are more confident even in the face of temptation or deception or what's the word? Like any detours in your relationship, it's not so easily tested because the foundation will be there. That's what I mean. Okay, let's see. And then the Six of Cups. Six of Cups reversed. Excuse me. Excuse me. Are these the same card? I'm just looking at them. So cups we know, or I know, cups are about subconscious and about the subconscious, about emotions, are about intuition. Um, and 6 is about harmony. When I look at this card reversed, I don't really get anything. But when I look at it right side up, I think about like the innocence and the childlike playfulness that two bunnies can represent, but also the um, kind of love that multiplies when two bunnies come together. And so I feel like it feels like this card is really reversed as a result of this card because it's really hard for me. Um, it's really hard for me to tap into it reversed now that we've talked about the Lovers card, why that's reversed. And so it feels like that journey of the two of you to embody and find right relationship with your masculine and feminine energy, that really is at the core of it all because it just feels like um, once that is also done, that this energy of the Six of Cups of just feeling so fulfilled and rich, um, and feeling like all the pieces of the puzzle are together in terms of your emotional well-being and how you show up in relationship to someone else who also recognizes their whole and completeness, that is really it's like that's your reward. That's your reward for all the hard work that you guys do. Okay, so as I kind of feel into this energy, um, to see if this is complete, I see a crocodile. Um, and this particular crocodile I see, it feels like um, metamorphosis, to be perfectly honest, because it's not just any crocodile. It's the crocodile in, I think it's Spider-Man, and that's just part of my psychic language because I read those stories all the time with my kids, and I grew up on the Spider-Man cartoon, and it's kind of like this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation where there's this man, he's a scientist, he's actually a good person, but and I don't know the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but he tries to heal himself, I think through crocodile DNA, and he ends up turning himself into a monster. I actually feel like you see yourself as a monster, or you're making yourself out to be a monster, but you're not actually a monster. Um, this feels quite self-deprecating, and a lot of times we're really mean to ourselves, how we talk about ourselves and how we treat ourselves, and even the picture that we paint to other people of ourselves, um, because it feels very foreign to celebrate ourselves. It feels very self-centered in a negative way, like conceited. And so I feel like that's kind of where this is coming from. And I actually feel like if you could, like, what I feel is, if you could see yourself in the mirror and actually see yourself, you could then have some grace. Because then you could see who you are and be kinder to yourself. Uh, I say have more grace in terms of not painting such a harsh picture of yourself, being so kind to yourself. And I also say if you could look at yourself in the mirror, because it feels like um, if you could look at yourself in the mirror and claim only for yourself, only in front of yourself, to yourself, that you are good, that you are worthy, that you are loved, you are kind, whatever set of affirmations you want to choose. If you could allow yourself that, if you could practice with just yourself, that you'd find more ease and acceptance in being the kinder person. I also feel like there's a part of you that probably thinks that being kind is somewhat vulnerable and weak. But that is a projection of other people and not actually true. It also feels like sometimes there can be a merging of the two identities in which you keep parts of both that work well together, in which there can be a stronger, more protective type, almost so to speak, from the crocodile version of the Spider-Man character. And then there's a soft side of the scientist and intellect that if they were together, it would be like the ideal identity. Okay. I think it's just going to be the two people here today because I'm getting really long readings. Because I asked, okay, are we complete? They're like, no, there's more. Okay, so there's more. Okay. Okay, I need to pull up here. The Five of Cups. Okay. So I pulled the Five Cups. The question I asked was, what else does a crab need to hear? Let's see. And I feel like there is a reckoning of just your approach or your relationship with your emotions in your emotional well-being. I feel like there's this reckoning because in this card it's like the person is very prominent and they're emotional. And again, cups is all about emotions. And it feels like a reckoning because 5 is the number of conflict change. It's kind of like if you're familiar with tarot, it's the Tower card, where all old structures are meant to come down so that you can create new updated ones or new stronger foundations. And so the Five of Cups feels like it is, and 5 leads into 6. Five of Cups is the reckoning that helps level the playing field so that you can have this really strong foundation. Excuse me. So much energetic clearing. So it does feel like you definitely need to have grace with yourself because you are going to feel all sorts of emotions coming up. And it feels like it's tied to your own personal relationship and your own personal journey and the things that you'll encounter. And I mean, that's healing, is when you confront the parts of you that you've been avoiding. And that breakthrough, it usually culminates in emotional release because that's all stored energy. So if you can look at it neutrally instead of judging yourself for having those emotions, then you could allow yourself to move through it fully and completely without judgment. And there's nothing wrong with needing privacy when you do that. So if that means being in a room by yourself, going on a solo trip retreat sort of situation, so that you could do some emotional purging, then do it. If it means finding someone that you trust, like a therapist or a friend, to kind of guide you through it or space for you, then do it. But you're going to do it. It's going to happen. What would be the ideal situation for you to go through that? Okay. That feels complete. And the Star says cards are pretty. Thank you. I think they're pretty too. Okay, I'm just going to clear my energy. Okay, so Akrami, all I ask is that you share how this resonated with you, because I feel strongly that as we share how it connects, it opens up other people to participate in these kind of experiences, but also for other people to be connected with their own spirituality. So thank you so much. Okay, Mary Star. Here we go. I need to figure out how these streamers have the second camera, and actually you could probably do that. I need to figure out how to have the camera with the like, so I could put cards down. I actually pulled 3 cards for you, Maristar. Maristar. The first card is the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is about the beginning of a new opportunity, a new material opportunity, a physical opportunity. Oftentimes that has to do with wealth, finances, career, things that generate wealth. The things that are at the core of how we acquire material goods. And just it actually feels like it feels like that there is this opportunity, because it feels like it's from built up momentum, from constant iterated actions that you've taken to really pave the way for this to come into your life. The Five of Pentacles reversed. Cool. And the Five of Pentacles is a card that's about feeling broken down and isolated, deserted, feeling very destitute, but also being in a position of having resources and support within close reach. And so then it's less about like, oh, what was me, but like, hey, don't be too proud to ask for help, or don't be afraid to ask for help. And how will you ask for help? It also feels sort of like because it's also a five card, which again is about conflict and change. It also feels like like not wanting to ask for help because of the conditions that might come along with it. And that I feel on such a deep level, because I'm looking at doing more in-person events, and I feel like I have such a block to become involved with certain events or certain event organizers because of their values. Like, I don't know that I necessarily align with their values or agree with them, and I don't know if I want to be associated with them. And I've had this conversation with people before, and I'm sharing this because it's kind of similar, or at least that's the vibe I'm getting. And I've shared this with a couple people and have said, I feel like I don't want to be a part of that. But the people I share it with are like, but what if by being a part of it, like, doesn't mean that you have to subscribe or support them to their way of thinking or even their values, but by being there, it helps you reach your audience. It helps more people that are meant to work with you find you. It helps you help more people. And I was like, yeah. And so that's what I feel like is coming through for this Five Pentacles reverse. It's like you have resources there, you have support, you have help. As tough as it seems, not only are you creating more suffering with yourself, right? Not opening yourself up to that support or aid, but you are also preventing support and aid to the people that you would provide that to. It's like, you know, people talk about self-love and self-care in terms of you have to take care of yourself so that you can continue to show up for others. And if you don't take care of yourself, then you won't be around to help others if that is what's important to you. So it feels very much in that spirit. Okay. I just had a realization with regards. So anyway, Five of Swords. Five of Swords. I hope you can see it. Okay. So Five of Swords, another five cards. It feels like between the two of you, there's a lot of change going on. There's a lot of change happening, but it's all paving way for it. So this Five of Swords is about, I can't remember what this card is actually. Right over the deck. It's been so long, but Swords is about mindset, intellect, and five again is about conflict and change. So that I see that there's like a cemetery and a skull head. It feels like the death of a way of thinking. I was on a 90-minute video call earlier today with 4 people, and I talked a lot. So on top of my crazy coughing today, I also need to think about a lot because I just talked a lot today. Okay, so going back to this Five of Swords, and I think it's Five of Swords, like right side up too. But it feels like, I feel like this has a lot to do with stability, creating stability, which is very like that's at the core of the purpose of five, is to change things up so that it can pave the way for you. But it feels like there's very much death and stability in death. And I say that because there are the 4 gravestones at the bottom. There's the skull at the end of the sword. Let me just connect to this card and see what it says in reference to. So, so I feel like you're starting a business and that you have this really great idea. But there's a part of you that's holding back from like seeking investors, which doesn't necessarily have to mean like this gigantic, like a large sum of money, but it feels like you're holding back from seeking, like finding investors. And it feels like it's a few things. It feels like everything feels so new, everything feels so like it's moving fast. And it also feels like part of the reason why you don't want to seek investors is because, or someone else outside help, is that you don't want them to shift too much what your idea is so that you are lost from the essence of your business. I also feel like the death of the mindset, I feel like where that comes from is what I know from running a business is that whatever you thought you knew, you just have to be able to be so open and flexible. And so it feels like there's just a lot that you're shedding in terms of beliefs and mindset, and that this is all part of the momentum that you've created and that being ready to pivot and to switch gears and to change directions for the sake of this opportunity, which includes asking for help. Okay, I'm gonna pull one up. Oh, um, yes, yes. Okay. Um, the card that I pulled to like round out your reading is the Knight of Cups reverse. And the Knight of Cups is a very like romantic archetype where it's like, oof, because I feel like the relationship to this reading to the rest of the cards is that you are the Knight of Cups, and that you've kind of taken all of the love and the joy out of the relationships, and to allow yourself to kind of be back in that energy so that you could see it from new eyes almost. Let's see, what else do I get out of this Knight of Cups? I get this feeling from this Knight of Cups reverse is that it almost feels like puppetry, but puppetry because I feel like a lot of what you're feeling is not actually yours. I feel like a lot of what you're feeling is um, projected energy from someone else. And I say puppetry because the image that came to mind is like Cyrano. And Cyrano is a story about someone who coaches someone else to say the right things in order to get what they want. And I feel like the reverse card, that's where the reverse card is coming from. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. Okay. So it feels like kind of turning the energy of the Knight of Cups reverse to bring it right side up. It feels like, again, you are the Knight, and the Knight represents this energy of like so much intensity and so much loyalty to the cause that nothing can stop you. And it feels like you're a little burnt out. It feels like that's a big part of the reason why it feels reversed. But it feels like instead of a horse, you see a unicorn. And unicorns are this very fierce, pure energy. Whenever I see unicorns, or actually horses in general, whenever I see horses, it feels like allowing yourself more freedom and liberation to feel more wild. And that doesn't mean like you have to be a crazy frat boy and get drunk and be wild in that sense. It feels more wild where you can allow yourself to indulge your intuition, indulge in your instinct. So it feels like allowing yourself to go with the flow, but to also be feeling very fierce and confident as you do so. I do feel like that's complete, but I want to I want to explain the image that Spirit shows me when it shows me that it's complete. It feels like when you allow yourself to get into these things, that you'll feel it's basically you're going to be looking out into the sunset, that you get to experience like the golden hour and see yourself at the top of the hill where you've accomplished it. You've gone the distance, you've done the journey. Um, and that it's a place where you can feel like this great higher perspective. Um, and you know what it's like to be on top of the hill and see, like, be able to look down and admire the beauty of where you came from. But being able to see like the completion of the cycle is what I'm getting. All right. I do feel like that is finally complete. So I'm going to start. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. And thank you so much for joining today and sharing. Let's see here. I need to trust my intuition. I hear the messages, but then I keep questioning it. I need to trust myself more and speak my truth without thinking too much of what people think. Yes, 100%. So a great exercise is to keep a little journal, even if it means that little journal is a notepad on your phone. And when you get these messages, write them down. You don't have to do anything with it. Just write them down. And it's something that you can revisit at the end of the day. Excuse me, so much energetically. And then write down how that message played out, because you don't have to necessarily do anything with your messages initially, especially when you're trying to build up that self-trust and confidence. um, but this practice is a great way to build that trust and confidence so that you can lean into those intuitive messages. So try that out and then let me know how it works out for you. So thank you so much for joining today. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube live, giving readings in this very same manner. I'm on community readings for collective healing every third Thursday of the month from 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time. And you can head to my website and register for the event in order to get reminders so we can join this very free accessible. So thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, day, wherever you are, and I will see you all next month. So thank you and goodbye.